Hello everyone and welcome to the 6th episode of Wishing Stars and Mickey Bars. Today we'll be discussing all the things there are to do at Disney Springs that don't include eating, drinking, or shopping. So stay tuned.
We are Robert and Alyssa, also known as Here with the Ears. We lived the entire year of 2019 in the Walt Disney World resorts, sharing our experiences and adventures on social media and YouTube. Wishing Stars and Mickey Bars is our weekly show where we share tips, stories, and more about our year living in the resorts and our continued Disney adventures. And in this week's episode, we are going to be talking about all the stuff there is to do at Disney Springs, not counting shopping and eating and drinking. When I go to Disney Springs, it's mainly to eat because there is a lot of really good food at Disney Springs. And
there is.
We'll have to do a whole episode on that one day. But today we're not talking about that. We're specifically talking about all the things to do there.
Especially right now with the Park Pass system, there are times when you may not be able to get into the park, and Disney Springs is a great option for fun things to do that doesn't cost a ticket or need a Park Pass to get into.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite things to do there, that we've done at least, is bowling.
Yeah?
It seems kind of simple. It's like you're at Disney World, you're going to go bowling. But yeah, it's a really, really cool bowling lane, Splitsville. And they have a bunch of lanes. They have other things inside the bowling alley too, like pool tables and a new game that I don't know if they invented it or found it called feather bowling. It's interesting. It's kind of like a shuffleboard meets golf meets pool. It's weird.
We watched some people play. I'm going to be honest, I would be terrible at this, but it did look fun. So we're going to have to try it at some point. But I think the other reason he likes Splitsville so much is that there is food there.
Okay, yeah, but I don't like it just for the food. The bowling is fun.
It is, and it's a great time, especially if it's raining or really hot. It's a great thing to do indoors. So we both enjoy that.
Yeah, but yeah, the food is part of it probably. Because Splitsville, shockingly, for a bowling alley, it has incredible food. Some of my favorite sushi on property is at the bowling alley.
That's right, sushi.
Yep,
He loves
sushi
the
from the
sushi
bowling
there.
alley. Don't think about it, just order it. Also, they have nachos, loaded nachos and loaded fries and all these different things. They're all amazing. But yeah, the sushi is pretty awesome.
I think my favorite thing to do at Disney Springs would have to be the hot air balloon ride. I really enjoy that. It's so much fun. And it's a very different experience. You don't really think I'm going to go on a hot air balloon when I go to Disney World. But it's really cool because you can see so much. So last time we rode, I think we were able to see 3 of the 4 parks.
Yep, and the only reason you can't see Magic Kingdom is that you just can't see anything at Magic Kingdom because it doesn't really clear the trees. We could see the Contemporary Resort and we could see Bay Lake Tower, but beyond that, the Magic Kingdom's on the other side, so it's kind of blocking it. Also, there's nothing really that tall at Magic Kingdom, so yeah, we were kind of almost all 4 parks. We could see the other 3 and the water parks.
It's a really fun experience for the whole family, assuming you're not afraid of heights. Definitely worth checking out.
And there are a few other things to do at Disney Springs. Those are just 2 of our favorites, the hot air balloon ride and the bowling. Now, there's a bunch of other things there to do, like, for example, Cirque du Soleil, which is currently not open. We did see the previous iteration of the show, which was Cirque du Soleil in La Nuba. And now they have the new Cirque coming at some point in the future called Drawn to Life, which is like a Disney animation mixed with Cirque du Soleil. We personally love going to shows like Broadway shows and things like that, and going to see Cirque is just kind of that same Broadway show type experience, a little more interactive, but we love anything like that. So that's a great one. A little pricier though, so if you're looking for something more budget friendly, probably not going to be Cirque.
Agreed. And something that might be a little more budget friendly would be the Art Corner. So they have some really fun things there. A couple of them are not available right now, like Make Your Own Scarf. They do have some for sale, but they don't have that available right now. However, you can get a caricature drawn there, which is the only place on Disney property you can go right now to get a caricature. And that's actually where we went. We got a digital one and a printed one. So if you see our profile picture here on YouTube, that's actually what that was. It's the caricature from the Art Corner. They also do fun things with letterboards and name art. And they have a new thing where they can actually print your caricature on a mug, which is super fun, super cute, and something that you can take with you.
Now, I am sad that right now they're not doing the scarf marbling because that is a really cool thing to watch and participate in. But I'm sure once things, get back to normal, they'll be opening that back up because it's a really fun experience.
Yeah, I never actually got to try it. I'd planned to several times, just didn't work out. So eventually I'll get to once they get to reopen that.
Another fun thing to do on that half of Disney Springs is the Void.
Yes.
I absolutely love the Void. I wouldn't say it's my favorite, only because you're limited to have 4 people in your group at the Void, whereas bowling you can have as many as you want, plus you can have just 2 people bowling. It's not as fun as the Void without like a group of 4 people, but it is a really cool thing. So the Void's a virtual reality experience where you put on the whole setup, like the vest, you have the helmet, you have the visor, like all these different things. You go in and there's 2 different experiences. There's a Wreck-It Ralph experience, which was fun. It was really cute, but it's more team-based. And I didn't really love the Wreck-It Ralph experience as much as I love the Star Wars one. The Star Wars experience was incredible. It was like you were dropped into the middle of a Star Wars movie. You look down, you see your hands, you're wearing the gloves, you pick up the blaster, and you physically pick up a blaster, and you're looking at it, you're shooting like blaster bolts out. It was the coolest thing ever.
I will say, I'm not the huge Star Wars fan that he is. I enjoyed the Star Wars one more than Wreck-It Ralph as well. I actually thought I was going to like Wreck-It Ralph more. That one's fun and more game-based, whereas Star Wars are more on a mission.
Yeah, it's like a story.
It is a little scary at one point.
Just a little bit.
But it's a very great, interactive, immersive experience. And it was we had way more fun than we thought we were going to.
Yeah, I really, really enjoyed that. Of course, that's not open right now either, but when they reopen, I really want to go back and do it again with a couple friends because it's not that expensive. It's like $30, I think, for a ticket and then tax and everything. So I would totally do it again. But with it being a story-based thing with the Star Wars one, you really can only do it so many times, I'm sure. We've only done it a couple. But the Wreck-It Ralph one with its game-based play, maybe you could have like more replay value there. But we just didn't really love that one as much.
Next door to the Void actually is Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique. So there is a Bibbidi Bobbidi there in Disney Springs, which is actually a really nice location. I know it's not in the park like so many people want, but you do have the option of the Disney Photo Pass just a few doors down, which then allows you to do a whole photo shoot while you're there, right after your little one has gotten all dressed up, whether it's a prince or a princess. You can do a whole fun photo shoot right there before they start running around.
And I will say, you mentioned the Photo Pass. That is a great option there at Disney Springs for anyone who has Memory Maker, either through their annual pass or they've purchased it for their trip. The Photo Pass studio there at Disney Springs is awesome. They have 2 little studio bays set up. You go in there, you can take a ton of pictures with virtual backdrops in there, some props depending on which backdrops you have. It's really great, especially for those who just got the boutique and did the whole princess treatment.
Or for larger parties, especially families, because you get a really nice location. It's indoors, so you haven't been in the park sweating. So I know our families have gone and taken really nice pictures together, and it's just a place we can all go and meet up and take some nice pictures before heading out and shopping, eating, doing stuff. I will say, however, the Disney Photo Pass is not open right now, and neither is Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, so just want to make sure you all knew that. We don't have an opening date for either of those either.
Yeah, and the Photo Pass studio, I should mention, is totally free. You do have to pay for the pictures if you purchase them, but if you do have Memory Maker, like I mentioned, that's totally free. Yeah. So, an extra little perk there that I really enjoy using. Also, on that same half of Disney Springs, you have 2 different little rides, I guess you'd call them, for kids. There is a small carousel over there by the Christmas store and right by the art corner. And then there is another little kids ride. It's a train ride right by Penn really Central near the co-op. So it's a cute little ride. It only lasts a couple minutes. It's really inexpensive. And it's just a fun little thing for the kids to do. I guess when you're walking around shopping and stuff, if you really wanted to, one parent could take the kids and like entertain them on the carousel for a few minutes while mom's checking out or whatever. Like you kind of go that route if you wanted to.
So the downside to those is they are outside. So if you have rain, those are not going to be available. However, it was sunny when we went. Super fun. They are both open right now. It's $5 for 2 tokens, and each ride, whether it be carousel or the train, is 1 token. So you could get 2 rides in for the little one. Or, if you have several little kids, then they can go. So it's not super expensive and gives them something to look forward to, maybe as a bribe after you've been shopping for a bit and they've been good. And right next door in the Marketplace Co-op is a make-your-own candle station. They are not currently open at the moment, but It's about a 45-minute experience. It's $25 plus tax, and you actually get to decorate the outside of the candle. You get to choose the color of your wax. You get to choose the scents. So I'm very much looking forward to that. I would like to try it soon in the future. It just seems like a really fun experience, and it gives you something to take home with you.
Yeah, I mean, I would personally just buy the candle from the store next door. That's kind of how I would do it. But if you want the experience of making a candle, that is there, and it's kind of cool because you make your own and take it home. Also, with the make your own theme right there in the Marketplace Co-op, they also have a made by you station where you can design your own t-shirt right there on this like kiosk, and then they print them out for you and you can take it home with you, or they can ship it to you, either way. So that's kind of an extra little thing in there. It's kind of like on the border of shopping, so I hate to mention it, but it is cool and it's there and it's unique. So I wanted to mention that.
Now, even though it's called Made by You, they do have templates that you choose from, and you can choose colors of the shirt. You can choose the template. So it is kind of made by you, but you are still given parameters in what you can put on there.
Yeah, I do like the ones that you can change out the name though, and like have your last name put on it. That's kind of cool.
Another fun thing to do over there by the Marketplace Co-op and the Train and Carousel is the main pin store. So they do a lot of pin trading there normally. They are not doing any right now, but normally they bring out a surprise pin board that is huge. They do lots of fun surprise pin trading times. Normally the cast members have lanyards. So I know we have gotten some great pins there. We love pin trading there. So that's also a fun option. And again, especially if it's raining or you just want to get out of the heat for a few minutes, it's a place to go underneath shelter and just talk to cast members and have a good time pin trading.
Yeah. Now, if we go back to the other side of Disney Springs, there's a couple more activities over there besides the two we mentioned earlier. On the way over there, you'll kind of notice at several different places, there's a lot of live entertainment, and that's all completely free. Sometimes it'll be as part of a restaurant, like Raglan Road has entertainment sometimes, or maybe over in Boathouse, they have entertainment in there. But outside, there's a couple different outdoor venues where they have just different people come out and they sing or have a dance party or do all these different things. It's really cool, and it kind of adds to the atmosphere of like this whole party vibe. Not quite the like Pleasure Island that used to be their party vibe, but you do get a little bit of a party going on depending on what kind of shows they have. And around Christmas time especially, they have a lot of like singing and stuff like that going on at the different stages. So it's really cool.
And since you mentioned the Boathouse, they have something fun and unique to do there. They have what they call the Amphicar. So it is literally a car that can go in the water. It's a 25-minute guided tour. It's $125 plus tax. Now, you can only have up to 3 people in the back seat, so it is limited to smaller parties, but it looks so much fun. We have yet to do it.
We've got to do it soon. It looks like so much fun. Looks like a 1950s-ish car. I don't know when they were made. There's only a few of them made. There's a whole story behind it. But literally, they drive up on the dock and then drive down into the water and just take off like a boat. Like it's really cool, and it looks like you're cruising around in a classic car on the water, which is just really fun.
So it's definitely a unique experience and something fun to remember. And again, it is a guided tour, so they have a lot of fun just giving you information there. Geared more towards adults. I'm sure kids would enjoy it too, but that's more of a fun adult activity if you'd like to do that.
Yeah, and as you keep going past the Boathouse, now you're on that far side of Disney Springs, we have to mention the Coca-Cola store, because that is currently the only place that you can meet any character anywhere on Walt Disney World property and like meet them and take a picture with them, meet and greet style, versus like at a dinner or something. It is the Coca-Cola Polar Bear. You can get a selfie with the Coca-Cola Polar Bear on the second floor of the Coke store. It's really random, but it's there, and we thought we should mention that because it's totally free.
Another great family activity, which is something you could do at home too, but the AMC Dine-In Theater is really nice, especially the actual dine-in theater. So they have heated, reclining leather seats, which is amazing.
They're very comfortable.
We have eaten there, and we definitely took advantage of those chairs. I'm normally cold, so I very much enjoyed it that the seats did heat up, and we just had a great time in there. The food is really good too, on both the dine-in side and the food court. So we always enjoy going there, especially for big Disney releases. It's a big deal. I know we're waiting on Mulan to come out, and that is where we'll be going to watch it eventually. So we're very excited about that, and that is a great place, again, especially if it's raining or you just need to get out of the heat. It's not currently open, but when it does, I know we'll be going back.
Yeah, and like she mentioned, only a couple of the theaters there in the AMC are dine-in. They do have the normal theaters, including a Dolby theater, lots of 3D and that kind of thing.
And a pro tip, if you have a Disney refillable popcorn bucket, you cannot fill it up in the theater, but you can fill it up right across the walkway before you get in for $2, which would save you some money on popcorn, and you still get great popcorn for the movie.
Yeah, it doesn't have quite as much popcorn because it's a lot smaller bucket than the one inside the theater.
It's true.
But it's only $2 instead of like 15. So, kind of pros and cons there. Mm-hmm. And the last thing we've got to mention is the NBA experience. Mm-hmm. This is one of the newest things they have at Disney Springs, and it's a 2-story building with all kinds of basketball and NBA things that you can do. From individual activities like trying out at the combine where you're like working and trying to see how good your shot is and it analyzes your shooting and your arc and all this stuff, to a dunk contest where you try and dunk it higher every time, or the cooperative games where you're playing against your opponent trying to score more baskets than them, or even the arcade style games. They have those too. Lots of little things there to do. If you are a basketball fan or an NBA fan, it's a really fun way to kill a couple hours while you're there at Disney Springs, but it does require a separate ticket for admission. It's around $35 for an adult, a little bit cheaper for a kid, but you can go in and out and go all day if you'd like to. So I think if you're a big fan, good place to go and spend a little bit of time. However, it's not currently open. They don't have a date for reopening. When they do, I'm sure it'll be around the same hours and price and everything, but right now it's not open.
Yeah. And that leads us into our first question, which several people asked, what is still open?
Well, I know we talked about certain things as we went through, what's open, what's not, but that is changing pretty rapidly. Yes. It seems like some things are opening and closing and reopening and reclosing, and depending on the laws and all these other things going on. So to find out exactly what is or is not open, if you're going to be here, make sure you go to DisneySprings.com. Look there. They have a list of everything that is currently open or currently closed, and check there for the most recent information, because whatever we tell you right here will probably not be true in a week or two, most likely. So just check DisneySprings.com for the most up-to-date info. And this next question, I know we touched on a little earlier. Someone asked, is the void worth it?
So this is a really good question, because I will say the packs that you put on to create the VR experience are very heavy. I would never recommend it for a little kid. Even as an adult, I felt like it was heavy carrying that around for 30 minutes. Now, that being said, $30 per person plus tax, we thought was kind of a lot of money for the experience until we did it. Once we went into the Star Wars and did the Void, we absolutely loved it. We would spend the money again. Again, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it for little kids, but especially young teenagers up through adults. I would highly recommend this. It's a great indoor activity. It's something fun. And honestly, we had so much fun. We did it with a couple of my siblings, and we still talk about it to this day. We had a wonderful time doing it. Highly think it's worth it. The Wreck-It Ralph experience would be better for younger teenagers just because it's more of a game-based activity. And so there is some camaraderie there. We would not necessarily do that one again, but we would do the Star Wars one again.
Definitely.
I really liked this question because this isn't something we normally get asked. What is something you don't recommend doing at Disney Springs?
Something I would not recommend. So of all those things we named that there are to do, the only one that I can think of that I would not recommend people do is probably the NBA experience. Unless you are a huge NBA fan or you really, really love basketball. Either way, I could see you having a great time. We went and we had fun. We had a large group of our friends that were with us, so we had a lot more time to like playing with each other, so it wasn't just us. That was a lot of fun. However, for the price and the fact that it really, if you're there and it's not very busy and there's only, even with a group of like 6 or 8 of you, you're done doing everything twice even within a couple hours. And it's just kind of like, okay, well, that was, it was fun, I guess, but it also is really repetitive because there's like 9 or 10 different games there. If you don't care about the NBA side of things, like the one activity where you get to be the ref and make the call as far as like what the answer should be as the referee, that doesn't really appeal to me because I don't really care for basketball too much and I don't really follow the NBA. So that, if you're not an NBA fan and not a basketball fan, I'd say I wouldn't recommend the NBA experience. But outside of that, there's really nothing there I wouldn't recommend.
And I do agree with that. The only thing that we wouldn't necessarily recommend would be NBA experience. And again, if you are an NBA fan, if you love basketball, it actually is a lot of fun. But because we aren't huge basketball fans, it just seemed like a lot of money for what it was. Our favorite game ended up being a slingshot game. It is basketball themed in the fact that you're shooting a foam ball into a hoop. However, it's still a slingshot, and so it wasn't necessarily us playing basketball.
Yeah.
I think we ended up playing that like 13 times because we did everything, did it all again, watched the couple of shows they had, and still had plenty of time. At some point, there was just nothing else to do.
Yeah.
So we finally did leave. But again, it is better if you have a group going with you so that you can compete in the games. That helped a lot and made it a lot of fun.
It did. Someone asked us, what is the tree walk at Christmas time at Disney Springs? And I think I got a pretty good idea what they're talking about.
So this is really fun and actually one of the best holiday things, I think, at Disney Springs. So you can meet Santa Claus over there at Disney Springs, but you can also go on the Christmas tree trail walk. Now, we like to go during the day and at night because during the day, the cast members will decorate the trees based on Disney rides, Disney movies. I know one of my favorites was Haunted Mansion that they did last year. And of course, they do like Beauty and the Beast. Mickey and Minnie usually get a tree. So beautiful designs, amazing things put together. They also did Disney resorts at one point.
They did, yeah.
The Contemporary had the monorail going around the tree. It was beautiful.
Really cool.
So it's a lot of fun, but we like to be able to go at night as well because, let's be honest, Christmas trees at night are just the prettiest things, all lit up. So it's best to go during the day and at night, but it's just this thing the cast members put together. It's completely free, so you can go to Disney Springs, and it's a fun family activity that you can do at Christmas.
And free is always good.
Free is good.
And the last question we have is, what would be your pick for the best budget-friendly option at Disney Springs?
So as we mentioned before, the Disney Photo Pass is a great option there. Currently not open, but if you have Memory Maker already or if you're an annual pass holder and have it, it's completely free. You don't have to make an appointment. You just walk right up. We've never had to wait more than 10 minutes to get in.
Yeah.
So that's a great option. Again, free. Pin trading is a great option, especially if you already have pins ready to trade.
If you already have pins, then it's kind of free. I mean, you're not paying out of pocket for it. I mean, yeah, you bought the pins, but whatever. We won't count that. We don't talk about pin trading because I don't have a problem. It's not an addiction. It's fine. I'm fine. I'm fine.
Live entertainment is completely free and something you can go enjoy any time of year. And of course, my favorite thing, the hot air balloon. While it is about $20 a person normally, if you go before 10 a.m., it is $10 a person. So you do get a discount there, and that's any day of the week. They are still doing that. We did ask. So that is a great way to still enjoy the ride, but get it for about half off too.
And before 10 a.m. means it's a lot cooler outside if you're in the summer months. So it's kind of a win-win. You save money and you get the cooler experience instead of being out in the heat as much.
And it's less likely to be raining.
That's also true. That's also, the afternoon showers are a real thing. And of course, it's a hot air balloon. They can't fly when there's lightning around. That would be another advantage to flying in the morning versus the afternoon.
Agreed.
We hope you enjoyed that episode and maybe found out about something you didn't know before that you can do next time you're here at Disney Springs. On next week's episode, we are going to be talking about the brand new Taste of Epcot International Food and Wine Festival 2020. They really wanted to make it a mouthful for us to say, but I think I got it right that time. Whatever, the Food and Wine Festival. We're going to be talking about it next week. We hope you enjoyed that episode and maybe found out about something at Disney Springs you didn't know about that you can do next time you're visiting. In next week's episode, we are going to be talking about the brand new Taste of Epcot International Food and Wine Festival 2020. Yes, it's a mouthful, but that's the name. That's what they went with because, you know, things aren't hard enough in 2020. Let's make a really long festival name, everyone has to say. Whatever you want to call it, it's food and wine, but kind of a little bit less food and wine. Yeah. So we have been several times. We've tried a lot of the food at the festival booths. Probably going to go back at least one more time before we shoot the episode. We may have even tried everything there by that time. Who knows? So if you have questions about the new Food and Wine Festival, we're going to post on Tuesday on our Facebook and Instagram at Here With The Ears. We're going to ask what your questions are. So drop them in the comments of that post. We're going to answer them on next week's show. And we're really excited to talk about it because we have very much enjoyed the new festival experience. Slightly modified from what we've known in the past, but still, it's been a really good time.
Thank you so much for watching this week's episode of Wishing Stars and Mickey Bars. Until next time.
We're Here With The Ears.